what Miss Lassie has done in this little room here, just in this particular area, is that she selected four, what I think she considered, and which most people consider, four major events in the life of Christ. So it's a sort of story of Christ, but with selected events. So if we start on this panel first, this is all wood. It's a wooden wall divider between this little area and the room in there, which was our sister Myra's room before Myra's passed away. So this here now, this little panel, you'll see it's the nativity scene, right? So you'll see Mary and Joseph with Christ here, the baby, and you see the wise men bringing gifts, the three wise men, and you see the shepherd, right, and the animals and so on, right? So that's her interpretation of the birth of Christ. But then she didn't go in a logical way where she go from this panel to that panel. The next panel she did in terms of the story of Christ would be across here, which is diagonally opposite to that one. So this panel shows Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane when he's asking his apostles, you know, when I think the guards were coming to arrest him, and you see the sign, it says, "Canst thou not watch with me one little hour?" And it's a direct quote from the scriptures. And so this is the scene. This is Christ, of course, and there's the tree, and you can see they're sleeping. They're all sleeping, and Christ sort of admonishes them. Then, of course, we know the story that he's taken to see Pilate, and then eventually he's crucified. So we have this panel right next to that one. Now you'll notice that this panel, although we know he's crucified, there are no people on the cross. So it's sort of Calvary. But what is interesting about it, because Miss Lassie's work is always not just about reading something and, you know, imagining it and painting it back. It's more about the events that happened during her life, and also, although she didn't speak about it, she was in a way a kind of a philosopher. So what she's done here is, as a typical artist, is to interpret the whole idea of Christ dying with the people. And you notice that there are three birds that are flying. One is still sitting, but these three are flying. And my own interpretation of these, and I think that this is why she probably wasn't necessarily thinking of it, but because of her intuitive vision, you have the souls, because you know the archetypal symbol for the human soul becomes the bird in flight. And so you have the three souls, you know, departing. And then Christ is buried here. This is the tomb, right? I think that would be Mary and Joseph, but the tomb here. Then the angels, of course, watching over. And you see the skies, the turbulent sky above there. You know, that whole, and you can see the turbulence and the energy that's happening in the atmosphere there. And then you come across here now to the resurrection, when Christ, when he is from the dead, right? And then he's saying, "Why weepest thou?" Because people are there at the tomb crying, and this is he's comes up. And then now we go across to the final panel, which is the ascension. So Christ comes in, he sees, and he shows them his hand, and he said, you know, and Thomas doubted him, and the apostles, many of them wouldn't show that somebody, because they never experienced somebody coming alive from the dead. And he shows them the marks of the spikes, the nails in his hand where he was crucified. And then he takes off in a cloud, and he departs into heaven. And so that's the ascension. So this is what this room in a way shows. It's probably the most ambitious single painting in the house. This is really what the house is about. For any artist, intuitive artist, anywhere, this is a masterpiece.